Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik, this is our game War in the Pacific Admit Edition, and this is now the second episode for the match with the historical gamer. And I think so far last time I showed the situation, and I was thinking maybe at least I can try to record the beginning of my reorganization of the situation. So far I really changed nothing. This is still the original setup of the ongoing game. And I also think last time I not explained fully the situation about our airplane and engine and R&D situation. So maybe we can go and check this first quickly and say let's go for engines and by type. What type? So we can see this is R&D. Still a production of H31. I don't know if this makes sense. I think the H31 no one needs more. Okay, anyway. We have a big ramp up of H32. This you can use. H33 is... Why the pool is 0? Oh my goodness. Where are all the engines? Okay. So we have normally capacity. So we produce H31, but I think no one need more H31. I must check, but I think there's nothing. The H32, H33 we need, but we have no pool. Where are all the engines? H33 you maybe need. This is R&D, this is okay. H34 you need for sure, and also H35 you need. Unluckily they are still far from 500 away, so I also don't know why you have this industry but you don't repair them, then they will not upgrade. So this makes no sense, this all make no sense. I mean, he paid already for the factory but then don't repair. Yeah, this makes of course no sense. We need to get them all on 500 normally. The H44 no one need normally. But now they're already at maximum, so I would also not touch them more. But I think they make really no sense. I will think about this if we maybe change this. And the 45 we need for sure, yeah, okay. So first I would say, if I have the engines, why I don't want to use them. But okay, this is the engine situation. First of this, yeah, and first maybe I must also show this. This game is a little different from the dojo game. First, this is a 1D classic. And I would say 90% of everyone play with 1D, but the 2D is simply a little faster in progress. You must play a little more safe, I would say, because every mistake will hurt you even more. Okay, and the big difference is normally that here is realistic R&D on. So I think, because this is the original save file, I can now touch here anything and change to engines, but I only can keep in the engine pool. And I can only change from a... this is also in my game if you have this off. The difference is the engine factory is always engine factory, but what is not possible is to change from a factory to R&D tool. So you can see that this is now a factory produce some stuff, and it's not possible to change any the H60 or any AND tool. So factory, keep factory. AND tool, let's say this, will keep AND tool. So you have a strict split between science and production for everything, for engine and airframe. So that is okay. Then let's check now the factory production. Okay, but this is the difference of A&D. So it is not possible to change from A&D tool to factory or from factory to A&D. But you still can define the upgrade path. And this is more important. So have this A&D realistic, I would say, is okay. It will handicap a little the Japanese flexibility, but it is also maybe realistic because because a factory is a factory and an AND tool is an AND tool, and they have normally nothing to do each other, and to simply switch them back forward is a little gamey. More important is, and this I would never play a game without player defined upgrades, because this is clearly, if you are the head of command, you choose what airplanes you want built, and you choose what airplane a squadron will use. Simply, you are head of command. Of course, it is on you. So means I am now limited in this AD stuff, but I am flexible in the airplanes I want to produce and I want fit to my squadrons. But this also means more or less I'm not forced to produce everything. I can produce what I want to produce. This means now that I normally can kick out everything what I don't like. And this is now the Air Force production. And we can simply say, I mean, this is purely my point of view and my game style. And first I would say, Tina, I don't need. This is a transport airplane. I don't rely my organization of supplies on transport airplanes. This is for me, an emergency situation, so I don't need this. So I would say that Tina I don't need. Similar to the Thalia, is also a transport airplane. I don't need this. Next, the Key 46 is a good recon airplane, and I cannot change it now to ND tool, so this is okay, you can produce this. But I was also saying, now I have already 30 in pool. I would say, no, I don't need more. So I would first say production, no, and also make upgrade, no. Especially in this, because what can, in this case it doesn't matter. You can, for here you can always normally have the upgrade on, but you can keep the upgrade off. So you have always a choice if you want to do something. I mean, if you want to decide, if you really want to change to the next airplane, normally you can always keep this on. It is for the R&D tool maybe more important. Because for the R&D tool it will now be like this. He changed a lot of stuff here. The moment the technology is done, normally the R&D tool will switch to production. But at the day the technology is done, this is the last day you can choose to more or less upgrade this technology R&D tool to the next edition for free, because if it's in chain of the upgrade path. So you can get, this is a 5, and the next is then the B class. So if the technology of the A6M50 is done at the day, this problem is really so far. I know I never did this, but I think it's really the same day. So if you finish your your R&D of this airplane, then you must more or less upgrade or switch this. Because if I do it now, but maybe it's also possible now, because normally it is still upgrade path. The question is if I want to do this. Because the AMs, they are all not 30. You must wait at least that they are 30. Nothing can be damaged. Oh, it makes no sense. So maybe I can keep this first. And then I don't need the A6M3. This is I see no benefit in this. The next airplane you really can only use is the A6M5. Makes only sense to produce this. So if I have here 30, I would maybe change this to the M5, because this airplane you really can use. And after the M5 you can, I would normally go only for the M5C, because this has an armor and more firepower. The problem is you cannot touch here and see immediately the airplane data. This is a little problem. You must see it switch back and forward. But okay, let's go this one step by step and see what we can do. So Tiana, I say I don't need. I will change this. Talia, I also don't need. This is okay, but I will stop now the production to save the resources and also the engines. The Oscar 1C, 80 in pool. 80 in pool is, I would say, normally okay. I don't need I would say no, I don't need produce, and also first don't upgrade. Don't upgrade, don't produce. Because for the 1C, it make really no sense. There is a 1C, after this is 2A. The 2A make no sense to produce a 2A. Because the difference between 1C and 2A is it's really, I better wait for the 2, I think it's a 2B. Oh, yeah, wait, check. What is the Oscar here? Oscar. I must first check if there's Oscar coming. Oh, shit. You see already, there is no Oscar. Okay. Okay. So for some reason the Oscar is completely already not more in development. I would normally go for the, you can check here this the 2B. The 2B Oscar is okay normally, and if you can get the 2B Oscar in end of 42, you can use the Oscar for long range bomber support normally. But it's okay. It's not a must to have this. I would not go for the 2A, because the 2A is really not a good improvement, but the 2B is the improvement. Have already armor, I think. Not more firepower, but a little faster and more and armor. It is okay. It's a little more tough airplane at that moment. Naja. Okay. So you normally must check the ND, and then you must also check the production, and then you must have a plan in your mind what you want to do. Okay. So if I know that the Oscar 1C is the end of production, then I also don't know why here is. The hell is there so many factories and no repair? This is a waste of this is of course a big waste of supplies at the beginning already, because you must pay for this industry, and if I change it now I will lose 30% of everything. So I would first say production and off. And off. I also don't know, the Oscar is normally not so great that I would really produce him so much. The Oscar is just so. It's not a really superb airplane. Anyway, the key 36 also no one need normally. Okay, I don't need. Also the key, okay, the key 21 maybe was under production because lost too many airplanes. Because I normally would not produce a key 21. It's a light bomber, make no sense. But I also see no Helen. So the Helen is not ready? Where's the Helen? Ah. Yeah. The old setup is more or less go for Helen 2A. This is the better one, the one I also want. But normally it's make more sense to first have the AND for the Helen 1A. Because the date is more near, so you will get your factories faster done. And then change at the moment you get the Helen 1A, you change it to the Helen A2. Then you have already normally then you are faster in your A&D tool setup. Okay. 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 So there's no Helen coming now first. Helen, the Sally is in 82, so I would also say first off. And no upgrade. Okay. The H6K4 is normally also an airplane I would not produce. He is nothing, and I think this makes no sense. Let's see if I can get the H, because it's not completely ready, but soon will be ready. Okay. But we have nothing in pool. I first say no. The H6 is simply, the range is good, the attack values are okay, but there's no armor and no defense firepower. And the lack of armor simply makes this airplane very easy to get killed by ally cap. So the H8 is simply much more tough, have armor, more defense firepower, and the same strike abilities, and even more range. So if it's possible, don't produce the H6 in great numbers, only the minimum. That's you must only keep your squadrons at full strength, but you don't try to pull up anything. Wait for the H8. Okay. Okay, I must check where the squadrons are and how many airplanes are missing. Of course, a pool of 0. I must maybe produce some. Betty, we need some. Upgrade can be off. 50. Yeah, okay, but maybe he lost too many Bettys before. And the Nell? Normally this must be already time for the Nell 3. Where is the Nell 3? Was the Nell is really not ready? Oh, here is... No, this is a transport, this is an old edition. Okay. Okay. So still the old Nell. 50. I say don't produce this more, but upgrade. Because the Nell 3 will come soon out and is simply better than the old one. Much more range. A little faster, but okay. Glenn, I don't know why produce Glenn. I see no benefit in this. This is normally always Jack. The only thing what I care is Jack. But I keep it first off, because looks like there is enough Jacks. But I think maybe he don't change all the cruisers and battleships to Jack. So also off first. I simply must first get an overview. Dive bombers, make production. Also, why there's no repair on 45 dive bomber. Oh. Maybe you have lack of supplies, not more many supplies left. Yeah. This is, I would simply say, for only to, if you have experience and if you have, if you understand the game, normally a factory of 30 for ND and a factory of 30 for production is always normally the best first. It is easy to ramp up. It will cost you not too much supplies at the beginning to create these factories. And if you want change later something, you lose only 9 factories, because I think after it switch you have from 30 you switch to 21. If you go with higher numbers, the percentage you lose is always, this is a percentage number you lose always more factories. So every change in the factory layout is always a cut in the in the end in the industry economy side of the Japanese empire. So I'm not a big fan of over big factories, because if you will change something, of course a 0 you can maybe always say because the upgrade pass, then you will always keep your factories. Okay, makes sense. And maybe also with the Tojo you have the 2-3 editions. And Frank, everything what you can use for 2 years, okay, maybe. But normally the dive bombers end of 42 or already in October, I think you get the next edition, then you don't need the dive bombers. The torpedo bombers are also 30, yeah, this is okay, but I don't know why here's now 70. And also those over crazy 0 production centers. Oh, it's this is something like the Americans. This is like American thinking or Russian thinking maybe. You use I don't know. You go with brutal with force, with pure strength in something, without fine tuning, without deeper calculation and realistic thinking, maybe. Of course, if you are new to the game, you will maybe not know this, and then you will do these decisions. And if you check the online page of the game and the comments, many Japanese players will mess up this whole industry and R&D stuff in some kind, more or less critical. And many players said that they more or less they expand too much, too fast, too early, or whatever, or wrong, and then they don't get defeated by the ally players. They're simply running out of supplies and dry out. And this is of course very hard to change this now more. But okay. First I would say I don't upgrade this. Not that there is any upgrade. Torpedo bombers I need, zeros I need, but I don't need more, so I also stop the production here. dive bombers, I also first stop the production. A pool of 40 to 80, 90 airplanes is normally what I would say. I would never go over a pool of 100. It makes no sense why I won't have 100 airplanes in a pool. Sooner or later, an airplane is outdated. And if I have 100 airplanes or 88, this is the maximum. I don't want more. Of course, it can happen that you lose quickly a lot of airplanes, but then you start the production again. And if you lose quickly a lot of airplanes, then you normally also make something wrong. And if you have it's an intention to battle out something, and you won't lose a lot of airplanes, or you will lose a lot of airplanes, then maybe you can do something else and say I ramp up the pool numbers. But normally I would say a pool between 40 and 80 is okay. Don't need more. I better switch off the production to save resources and save engines, especially if my airplane is based on an engine where the Japanese player have less than 500 engine in the pool, because you don't get the bonus. If you have 500 engines, you get this 100% R&D bonus. And this is simply in the long run important. Without the 500 engines, you can get an airplane maybe 6 months earlier. If you have enough engines, you can get the airplane maybe 9 months, 10 months earlier. Okay, so first I switch this all off, and then we see for more. The R&D is of course a very long run stuff, because if any change here will be very costly. And I think first, let me check. The 03 is okay. I would normally, in the moment I see here the factory is full, then I would go normally for the AM5, because I don't want to produce this airplane. This airplane cannot operate from a carrier. It's a purely land-based, and it's not really better. This one is better. It's faster, have more firepower. Okay, I must keep in mind, this is also okay, because this is the best carrier fighter. You need this one. If I will go for so many R&D factories, I think this makes no sense. 3 or 4 I think is the maximum, not more. This is waste. This is of course totally shit. Normally. I mean, okay, with why I would not do this. This airplane is one of 2 airplanes so far I know based on the H-44 engine. If I don't produce this airplane and not the, I don't know, I think it's a Jack. If I skip these 2 airplanes, I can skip this engine. Keep it simple. I have still the H-43 and the H-45 for high-end engine. I don't need a third high-end engine. It makes everything only more complicated. And this airplane you can get in the next generation already with a normal engine, I think. But I cannot touch it now. It will change. Because the date is also not big difference. I think the other airplane, wait, let me check, I can maybe find it here. Here is, this starts 543. And this, what I go is for 10, so this is only 5 months difference. And this is based on the H-32. Because normally you can get this H-32 after 3-4 months already at 500 engines, and this one is based on the H-44. You will never get this engine done before the airplane is ready for duty. Well, let's say it's very hard. So you can get this the second edition at least at the same time like the original one, maybe even earlier. But this is a combination and the rules behind. Okay, I would say if it's possible and I get this factory, I know I cannot change it more. If I change, then I lose everything. I must stick to it. Or if I'm lucky and I get the 30 factories done, then I can normally upgrade this to the second edition. Yeah. The Mute is okay, you will need sooner or later. The Judy, this is a dive bomber. Because this dive bomber is based on the H60, so normally you can get it maybe in the beginning of 43, already end of 42. This is okay. The Randy is okay, this is high-end stuff. This one I don't produce, but it's only my personal believing it's not good. The Tojo is good, yeah, this you need a lot. This is a dive bomber or multi-role fighter, how you want to call this? I think you can call it fighter bomber. Like a Me 110 Zerstörer. It's okay, it's have long range and firepower, but of course against a one engine fighter I don't know if this will work. This is a Helen, yeah, the Helen we need Helen as soon as possible. You can see also based on 34. So then we have the Peggy, this is a land-based army torpedo bomber. It's a good airplane, but it's late game. The Frank is good, it's an army-based land-based fighter, one of the best you need. This is George, this is from the Navy land-based fighter. The Francis, this is a Navy torpedo bomber. It's more or less the next generation of the Betty, because the Betty is already now not more really useful, and the Francis is simply much faster and can avoid more damage. Okay. And this is a night fighter. Okay. I explain something here maybe. First the Zero. This is a Zero M3. The Zero M3 is have no. It's a little faster, I think, and but the rest is the same. And it cannot operate from a carrier. And if it's not operating from a carrier, I think it's unflexible for any use for the operations. You see, no armor, very low hit points. The firepower, the gun setup is the same. It's simply a small upgrade and limited. You can do it, but I think it's make no sense because it's a speed of 338 and the original one have a speed from 331. So this is for me no upgrade useful to, because it's the whole logistics and you have different airplanes and you must manage this all. I would say no, it makes no sense. This is 3A, is the same airplane but can operate on a carrier. But still no. You can see here also difference. The speed is one of the most important things. You can see the 2A 331. Here 338. But the 5 have a 351. And from 351 to 3, this is 20 miles more already. So this one have first more hit points, it is faster, the range is similar, and can also operate from a carrier capable. So this is an upgrade. I say yes, I would produce this, and if you have this 500 engines you can get this early 43. It's okay. And this, then you maybe, then you can see here's our armor. So this is a 5 with a speed. The 5B, I say, make no sense, have a little more firepower, but it drops a little speed, no. And then there's a 5C. The 5C more or less drops back to the original speed, but, so they have armor, and they have much more firepower. The light machine guns kicked out. Now we have 3 heavy machine guns. Light machine guns have more or less no use. You can have 10 of them. If the enemy have armor, you will have a hard time to kill this airplane. So this is for me the last of the zeros, because after this is nothing more coming. Some people say stop already with the M5 because you have the speed. But I think the 5C is maybe slow, but because we have the armor and we have much more firepower, and the Allies, the Americans at least, the Americans normally only have light and heavy machine guns. They don't have the 20mm gun. The British fighters, they have a lot of 20mm guns, the Espanol, and this 20mm gun more or less ignore armor. So if you have the 20mm gun and you make a hit, it's more or less doesn't matter if you have armor or not, you will always make a lot of damage. But with the heavy machine guns and you have armor, you can already reduce the damage to your airplane with a big quantity. So maybe like 50% or less than of the damage. And this will normally often decide between the airplane can return or try to return to base or is immediately blown up. So this is a zero question. What else we had here? This is a torpedo bomber, the 1 with a special engine, and this is a 2 with a standard engine. You can see this is already faster. And so I would say it's no really, you can get this at the same time, and then I go for this because I have a standard engine. It's under production. I don't even need especially factories only for 1 engine. Yeah, and it's faster. So why not? Okay, let's say something. Yeah. This is all of this float plane stuff. And like I said in my dojo videos, produce the jack and nothing else. And later you can change to Jack B, because Jack B can transport a radar. But first in June 44, not before. All others ignore, only Jack. Keep it simple. Why not? Why? Jack is the best out of this all float planes. The rest is all shit. At least it's not better. And why I won't produce them? Good. Betty, like I said, produce only the original Betty in small numbers. Keep 20, 30 in pool, but not more. This airplane will die always. You cannot. It will die. There's no way around this. Similar to the Nell. The Nell 3 simply is only very good because you can get radar. You can use this later at night operation if you train this in night operations. Because they have also a super long range. But I must really try this because I also don't have the experience with this. But I think it's for daytime it's too risky. I would say use this only for night Navy attack. Especially if you have the radar. Because at night there's normally not so many night fighters. And I don't know how it works flag at night. I never really have this experience with this. But it's my thinking that this airplane is good for night because of long range. Because what is really terrible is enemy fighters. Simply it's far too slow. This is super slow. Okay, here with the HK6 and 8 you can see here again this one is simply in everything better. And costs you exactly the same. You can get it in July, and I would wait better for this. and don't produce too many of this H6. The moment the HA enter the war, the H6 is more or less absolute. It's out of war. You don't need it more. Okay, I think the Jack was also based on 44. No, this is a 32. Oh no, the Jack was also based on that. I don't know what there was. One other airplane based on 44, but I don't need it on me. Okay. Yeah, and we can talk about shortly about the Oscar. This is a C, the standard one, 305, 2 heavy machine guns, no armor, 23 hit points. And normally the one I would produce is the 2B, because it's much faster and it have armor. There's still only 2 machine guns, but you can add drop tanks and you have long range. And for low altitude, it is still okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Okay. What else? Transport airplanes I don't produce because I can't really. In this Dojo's game, I so far all my transports from turn 1 to my last turn, training and nothing else. I don't know what I want with transport airplanes. 2 more things I want to explain. If you play this game, there are 2 airplanes or maybe 3 airplanes you maybe think are not good, but they are somehow a little in secret. First, the Key 83. This airplane is damn fast. It has armor, it has hit points, and it has a lot of firepower. Yeah, it is a totally endgame airplane. But I would always say at least one R&D factory with 30, this is for me standard, because all R&D must be 30, have on this airplane. If you can get it, or the moment you get it, you must produce it. This one is especially with this range. This is something like the Japanese Lightning, the P-38 Lightning from the Americans. This is more or less the same. It comes a little later. This is why you need the H-43. But it's many say this is also a very good bomber interceptor. I mean, you can see the layout with the 30mm gun. The 30mm gun is normally a bomber killer, not normally something for dogfight. But I would say you keep at least one R&D factory for this. The other one is the Key 95. It's the same airplane, but I have other description. This is now the Recon edition. It's the same airplane, but now it has a camera, so it will make very reliable recon and scout information. Also only one factory, because there's a recon, it's only information, but it's damn fast, it's have armor, it's very hard for the allies to intercept this. And you can also see it have some firepower. So if there is a dogfight, this airplane can get already the kill, or at least survive. So I would say to keep it. Also, the Denko is for me the best night fighter the Japanese have. It is also very late, of course. But this airplane based on H-45. And also, like the other 2 before, you must get this engine, and you must get this engine up to 500, and then you can get this airplane faster. I only say because this gets a good radar, this has a lot of firepower for a night fighter. Keep in mind, this is a night fighter. This is a night fighter, purely. But if the allies coming at night and they bomb you, then you need this airplane soon, but very soon. Better soon than later. Okay, because all the other stuff, like this one, whoa, what I want with this. No armor, no hit points, the speed, nothing crazy, no radar, short range. Oh, don't produce this kind of stuff. I mean, it's endgame, but why? This looks not like endgame for me. And yeah, this only for this. And there's some other. This I don't want to talk. This is too special. Okay, this is about this R&D stuff. Okay, and the other stuff I had not talked about last time is maybe what is coming with the ships, because I had no time to check the ships so far. What is under production? Okay, I better first take this out. First, we can see here that our navy pool is nearly zero, and our navy shipyards request 1445, so it means we request more navy points than we really produce. So we have too much pressure on the navy shipyards. But we also can see that we have 3000 pool points from the merchant shipyard, so we can normally push here a little more. But the question is, there is not much to push out. But, okay. So first let's see carriers, based on time. Okay. I explained this already all with dojo stuff, but I can explain this here also again. If you start with the Japanese, you have the option to slow down, or you have the option to stop shipbuilding. You can say, this ship I don't want built, so you stop the production. You can have normal production, or you can increase the speed. Increase the speed is, of course, you pay much more for a little boost. It's like in reality. It's not you pay double and it's in half the time. No. But okay, this has the options you have. Now what we can see is this, or what I would say is with the Japanese. The Japanese need at least two stuff a lot. The Japanese need more carriers. Every carrier you can get you need. And they need every destroyer they can get. This is my basic thinking. So normally, if you are the Japanese, these are the fleet carriers and the fleet escort carriers. You always try to push this out. This is first, I would say, you can first do this. But not what is from 45. 45 I would say first, it's so endgame. Good. This is first. Then you have the Shiano, because what I just said is a basic rule. And the Shiano is more or less a special rule. The Shiano is always on hold. Because the Shiano is in this game a shitty carrier. The Shiano is the third Yamato battleship converted half Finnish or 2/3 Finnish from the Japanese army after many discussions in the Battle of Midway. I think also they changed it to a carrier. And in reality, this Shiano was not a fleet carrier, it was a maintenance carrier. And because it is a maintenance carrier, they don't build this ship for aircraft capacity. Half of the ship was like something like a repair center. So normally the intention was you have 2 or 3 or even 4 normal fleet carriers and this Shiano. And every airplane gets damaged, and not only light damage doesn't matter, but if it gets more seriously damaged, will always fly to the Shiano, and then it will repair in very short time, and then back to the main fleet carrier. So this is a floating repair center and maintenance center for aircrafts. This is a reality thinking, but in this game you don't have these options. So what is left is a carrier with big armor, a lot of tonnage, but very small aircraft capacity. So I would simply say it is a useless carrier. If you get it for free, yes, I will take it. But you don't take it for free. You must take you must pay this 157 points Navy shipyards per day if you want keep it running under normal construction. And if you ramp it out, I think it's even more. I mean, of course it's more. So what we do, we can say from hold, now we have 1,845 we have to pay. To normal is 2,002. And if we want to increase it, it's 2,316. So you can save a lot of Navy shipyard points only in the moment that you switch this on hold and say forget this ship. First you get it very late, and second it will not really help you. What is important is this TIO. If you can, but the problem is you cannot change anything here, so the TIO is exactly normally what the Japanese, this is the first class best Japanese carrier. It's very fast. It has an armor deck. It is protected against any destroyer fire. So a destroyer or something will not damage it. So if there is something faster than this ship, it can normally not hurt this ship. Normal bombs will also not really destroy the ship. It will maybe damage the ship, and if you get too many bombs, of course you're also dead, but it can survive some hits and will not immediately die. So it has the protection it needs, it has the speed it needs, and it has a big air group, and it has a lot of torpedo load. So it is a really first class carrier. Pitifully you only get one of this. Because the Japanese have simply, they make the decision, they say it is better for the Japanese to build 2 or 3 medium carriers. This is a this is a medium carrier. You can see everything is scaled down. Less airplanes, less torpedoes, the speeds they keep the same, less armor protection. But this ship is like in reality half the price. You can get 2 of this ship for 1 TIO. And you also must keep in mind that bigger ships normally always are much more complicated to maintenance. All the base equipment must be much bigger, more expensive. If you build ships like this with only, you see, less tonnage, it's more ports, more shipyards can maintain this kind of ship. Okay, but this is too far away. So we say now Shiano, if you start the game with the Japanese, the first thing you do is stop this. And remember, if you play by email, you cannot do it at turn 1, you can first do it at turn 2. For some reason the game say turn 1 you cannot change anything in the shipyard building. So don't get confused, day 1 this is locked, there's no option for this. First at turn 2. So in the rest I would simply boost, at least for everything 44 and 45 I think there's ships under construction, okay. So you can normally also boost this if you want, but this is a question of, if this is your first game, you can maybe even hold this. I think this ship is not under under protection. I would say keep it normal, because I think hard to say if you ever will see this. You can also stop them later, but I would first say this, everything is up to 44, faster, but Shiano always stop and the rest is normal. The escort carrier is, this is okay, this is good, because the escort carrier belongs to the merchant shipyard. And there's not really much you can get out of this, so these escort carriers always boost them. And if it's grey, they are not under protection. So the shipyard must first finish the other one, or there's a date this ship go online, and then you can also speed up the ships. But these ships are really not so useful because they are very slow, and 8, it normally doesn't matter if you have them or not. So this 3 and everything before also speed up, but the rest ignore. Okay, the second thing, the battleship question, because battleships also belongs to Navy. Of course everyone can do what he want, but what I would do is, at also turn 2, immediately Yamato go in hold. Don't produce this ship. Not now. Use this because you can save a lot of points. And these points you invest in this carrier and in destroyers. There's a reason. The other Yamato battleship you keep on normal. This ship is finished at 1st of December. And you keep hold the Yamato, and then this date, the arriving date of the Yamato will always go more in the future. It comes more close to this 1st December. And if you come close to the 1st December, it must be perfectly, but in the same week I would say, or the plus minus 5 days, then you say again normal construction. This based on the tactical thinking that ships, heavy units always better operate in a pair, not in single units. A pair unit have simply the possibility that they can support each other, and if one unit gets more under pressure, it can try to escape and the other will take the line of fire and cover up. I operate everything always in a pair. And I also try always to have sister ships together, simply because they have the main characteristics. And these are heavy battleships, and you have only these two. And this is why I say I better have them together and have then one heavy battleship group. And I don't try to mix them up with other stuff. Their speed is especially because this is a Yamato 46 centimeter guns, and this need a big harbor 8 or 9, and 8, I don't know even if 8 works, but if you have enough navy support stuff there, you can also rearm the stuff. So these ships are very special because they need always a bigger port to rearm normally. This is and you can use this point for other stuff. You have other stuff. And also a third point, these are battleships. What the hell you want with battleships in World War II? This normally is dominated by Air Force. So say that battleships are nice to have, but they will not win the war for you. Okay, do this. Cruisers. It's you can keep them normal. The problem is they get a navy. If you have nothing else, you can go for it. But now we can see we are completely too high. Let's see. First, I first keep them on normal. Let's see what happens to the rest. So destroyers are all increased. This is okay. Better keep them also. Yeah. Destroyers I always have emergency. There's nothing here. These are all shitty ships and coming late. Okay, so more navy. Yeah, submarines also belongs to navy. You can also normally push the submarines, but the Americans, I think, latest in 43, like with the German submarines in the Atlantic, in 43, it's really a hard time to survive. I also would say that this is by type, yeah. SST always keeps them on stop. You never will or need to produce this kind of ships. For me, up to now, I find no reason why I won't produce SSTs. Why I keep them on hold. This is a long-range submarine with airplane. This is one of the best. I keep them on normal. I don't know. Maybe he won't save the points, but I don't know. These are one of the better submarines. A little strange. Here's something also. So I go for normal. Normal. And SSTs are shit. These are cargo submarines. Yeah, no way there's ever a use for a cargo submarine. It's you need everything what can fight. And if you transport cargo, you use cargo ships. And if you cannot use cargo ships because the enemy dominates the sea, you can try to use cargo airplanes. And if the enemy also dominates the skies, then you're fucked, or then there's something wrong, and you're lost and give up the base. This is totally waste. Okay. Normal. This is all emergency stuff coming end of the war. This is nothing important. Okay. So we have now the situation that our merchant shipyards need 750, but we have 800. So we can normally produce more merchant shipyard stuff. Merchant shipyard stuff, you can touch this. Then you always see what belongs to merchant shipyard, but not this. This is only a this is a bug. Simply say this is a bug here. This belongs not there. So we can normally say we can kick some more transport ships, cargo ships, oiler, tankers. Okay, let's say this. I take this out. What is the most important for the Japanese? I would say oilers and troop transport ships. Estimate by time. And let's say we increase this all. And because we have 3000 pool points, I can normally say now everything comes in 42. I can first go. Means we will lose now roughly 150 points per day. Yeah, I do this first. And then I see for more. Okay. Now we must manage the Navy shipyard stuff. We are now at 1800 points, but we only have 1400 or a little less. So 1300 we must go down. So where we can go down? We can go for... We take the destroyer I don't want to take out. The battleships are already on hold and normal. The cruisers are all on normal. Submarines are all on normal. You can also order this like build rate. So stop. All normal. Yes. Okay, destroyers are all on things. Cruisers are okay. So then we must do it with a carrier. And we need this by date. Then I would say what is normal. Ooh. If we go for this, the big factor is only I cannot cut submarines. I have nothing. APDs I have normally nothing. Battleships I have nothing. I can only forget destroyers. Here's nothing under production. I can own the destroyers I need after. I lost too many destroyers, so I can need every destroyer I can get hand on. The cruisers, I lost also too many, so I can normally not stop them. It also makes no sense to stop something to boost something if you need the ship. So I would not stop. I would better go for more on normal if you need it, and I need the carrier, so I better keep it like this. And I must first build up some pool points. If I have 500 pool points, then I can check here again. Or maybe in 39 days, if this carrier is done, then I can maybe increase 1 or 2 more carriers. Okay, this for the ships. I would say this is now okay first. Okay. And we can maybe check the aircraft pool, because I must get a feeling for the aircraft. Yeah, but maybe it's always hard to say here, but this is outdated fighters, the 88 zeros, this is okay. The K Torpedo Bombers, only 20 in total, this is to a less pool. 45 Dive Bombers, this is okay. Jack 60 is okay. And all this other, so I must check this with the float planes are normally always an issue for me. I don't know, something's a little fishy here. The G3 Bombers with 50 is okay, the Bettys are normally too less, I need more pool. Oscars is enough in pool. This is okay. Okay, more we don't have. Wait. Where is here. This is the army bombers, 80. Yeah, this is enough. The 48 I don't need normally. Okay. 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 Good. Okay. Good. After I did this, and I have a feeling, let's go again for the engines. So the A&D stuff, or maybe first the A&D stuff. The 0 I cannot touch, I must wait it at 30. Then I will change it to the AM5. And then I half the industry, and then maybe half of the AM5 I will change to AM5Cs. This I keep. This I must keep now because it's running, I have no choice. This I can keep. This I can... This I can keep. I think I will go later here. This I'm for sure I don't need this airplane. Really, there's no way that I really use this. And it's yeah. I need a Denko for sure. At least I need one factory with Denkos. And let me check if there's sometimes maybe there's a small factory, but they're all already pushed out. Also, this make no sense. I never try this normally. I always go 30. Never go with R&D over 30. The R&D can only handle 30 factories. Every factory over 30 will not have any impact for R&D. And R&D first works if the factory is completely without damage. So this factory in Tokyo will create R&D. This factory produce no R&D. This produce no R&D. And everywhere where you can see anything is damaged, if there is not a 0 like here, it will not produce any R&D. Okay. I think I must see I normally was looking for something with a small number like a 10. Then it's not so costly to change, but there is nothing. So I must then change something else. I think this Francis. I must check this later again if I really want this night fighters. The fighter, the torpedo bomber is okay, this is okay. This Nick I must check, I think is also a night fighter, and I normally don't use this. Night fighters, don't produce night fighters without radar. If a night fighter cannot have radar, it is a very limited use. Yeah, a night fighter without radar is more or less useful. Because this have no use, because you cannot see the airplane if you don't have a radar at night normally. The ability to intercept is very low without radar. And this is there are 2-3 airplanes that have radar, and you get radar first in June 44. But also the Allies, I think they get first the B-17 and B-24 bombers around the same time. So they will maybe not make so much strategic bombing at night early on. And for day operations, you need something else. Okay, I need some more time. I think this I must do by myself, but I will change here a little more, but I can also not change too much, but let's say go for this first. Yeah, before I forget it, I can change here, because now it's 18, but this means we need 12 more. Then it's a 30, and then I say yes. Bam, done. And every turn there's now a chance that this will repair, but it's not automatically. For ND, it is simply a calculation how far away in the future, and how more far in the future, so this is super far in the future, so the chance that here one factory will repair is very small, maybe only 5 or 10% like this. But if you better first say what is my end number, and the end number is normally always 30 or 10. I would say only 10 or 30 and no other number. 10 is a little faster, but it will not give you later too much ND potential. 30 give you 100% potential for ND improvement, but it needs longer. Okay. So ND, okay, let's go back to this. So the 0, I don't want to make upgrade. I think also make no sense for us to repair this, because I also must check this supplies. I think there's a lack on supplies everywhere, so I don't want to waste any supplies now. So zeros are stop production. Okay, torpedo bombers, I need for sure more. This I have first enough. I also don't repair. Jacks I have, and I don't need more. Okay, this glance I can normally change, but for what? Okay, Nell bomber I have some, and I wait for the upgrade. I don't produce this more. GM, this I need more, I produce them. This I don't need more, I wait for the H8. The bomber I don't need, I wait for Helen. But I cannot change to Helen because this is AMD locked. So I say off. This I don't need, off. I also don't want to repair this because I will change it, then it will automatically everything gets broken again. Oscars. What I do with the Oscars. First I need no production. But if I wait with that the Oscar 2B will come out with the original date, then it's too late. Because if you get the Oscar 2B first in the historical date, then the airplane is outdated. You need it 4 or 5 months earlier to use it this 4 or 5 months. What I can do? I can only... I need... What I need? I think I keep it off. It makes no sense. I see no use for this. Also no upgrade and no... I see no way. This is with 29 is also... So I keep this all off. I don't need more of these outdated airplanes. I need new airplanes to counter the American and British Air Forces. All off first. Okay, engines. Okay, the H60 you need, that is for sure. The H31 no one need. Really, no one needs it. The H32 you need for some bomber stuff. And there, I don't know why there's no pool engines. Also the 33 you need. And normally I also want to repair this. There is no upgrade. This is can ignore this because engines never upgrade. Production, yeah. This no. Okay, let me think. I can change this to a AMD. No, this is no AMD. Yeah. So what is the most important engine? Normally it's the H35. And there are 60. But let me think. Because we also need the H32 a lot. And this are, but this if I repair them, this are 200, this is 300, this is normally a lot. These are also 200, these are also 300. This is also normally enough. The H43 I need. Yeah, it's all fine. These are only 100, 200. This can repair all. This is of course super. Oh, maybe one last info. A base can always repair any kind of factory and building only one per day. So it's make normally no sense to ramp up at one base like this 235 factories because it will need 235 days to finish this repair. But you pay immediately at the day you buy this 235 factories. You pay this at that day. So you make the down payment already at the day you ask for these factories, but first after 235 days you get the delivery of your good. This is from economy point of view and the logistic chain and efficiency simply no. If you want make 235 factories in one base, you can go once per week and say 5 more factories, 5 more factories, 5 more factories. You will at least in this option you will keep your supplies for whatever you need them for. In this case you already paid and it's lost, it's over. You're not more flexible. If you make every week 5 more factories, maybe plans will change and you can change. In this case it's not more possible. You cannot ask for back your money. There's no return option. I also don't know what I mean. I need a lot of H35 engines, yeah, for sure, but these numbers are crazy. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 engines H35 per month? How many airplanes I won't build? How many airplanes I must lose for engine is an engine. Yeah, I can use it for ND, but I think it's make no sense more to repair this. But also I cannot change this more. I think this makes really no sense to repair this. I would maybe go for I let it repair, but in the moment I catch the 500 engines I will stop this. Or maybe I stop it already now because These are already over 300 engines per month. I think I stop this now. So first at all, I would say repair. No way more to repair. And also, yeah, production. Yeah, of course I need the engines. Yeah. So no repair, but production. Yeah, okay. Okay, because I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 43 engines, this is for sure enough. Yeah, I keep the 44 maybe also now. Because the 44 will go for this, right here. For this torpedo bomber, and this is based on 5th 43. And the engine is based on also 5th 43. And we get soon a booster for this. Oh, but makes this sense? I get the engine earlier. But I will never get the engine early enough to produce 500 engine to boost the development of the airplane. So I would say it's make no sense. So pity this is that the ND is just finished, but I have no, I don't produce this engine. It's a totally useless engine for me. So okay, let's say what we can use to boost now the H60 make no sense because it will come soon and I cannot repair this fast enough to benefit out of this. Normally I would say the H44 can now change to H43 or H45. The H43 is a high-end engine and is already, there are already 4 factories working for it, and I would say no. The H45 is normally heavily used later in the war. It will more or less replace the H35 engine. So I would say I use this and I change it to the H45. Yeah. Because why not? I have no use for this. Now you can see it's completely destroyed again. You will not lose here the tools, but I think this is only, yeah, because maybe it was finished already with maximum. Or maybe this is an engine rule. I don't know. I thought it will also lost 9 engines. Anyway, okay. And now is this one. Yeah. The H31. I also don't need. What I do with the H31. The H31 I can only change to something what I produce. And I think it's a 32 or the 33. Let's see. I produce 233 and also over 232. But okay, let me think. What we produce now? We produce this one. This needs a 35. The Betty needs a 32. These are the only airplanes I have now under construction. This is all 35. Let me check. I cannot touch it. The Tojo. The Tojo needs a 34. And Tojo we will need a lot because we have no Oscar option. Especially now because we don't have any Oscar set up. The Helen needs also 34. Okay, the Helen and Tojo both need 34s. Okay, then it's mixed. Then it's easy. Then I go for a 34. I have already a lot. So, but yeah, we repair this. Oh, Why is it 31? Why is it 31 and 32 are so low in pool? Where I use them? Dive bombers? Need 33. Jack need 33. I think this is all based on this key 21 bomber. But I don't want to produce this. Diana 31. Good question. Normally I would say I go for 34. Especially because I need a booster. It's only the question I have here already 120, 180, nearly 200. It's normally enough, I think, to support the industry. I mean, I have here also enough. I really don't know what I can do with this engine. I think I will first wait about this. I must think about this, and I will think about this. I must find a solution where I can best, or you can also write in the comments what you think. What is the best to change this H31 to which engine type? Because I really don't know. I think normally the 34 is the best. Because the 34 will be in heavy use later. The 32 and 33 normally don't use so many because many engines don't use this. It's a Japanese. I think the most they use is this is a Torpedo Bomber. The Torpedo Bomber uses 32. The Nell will use 33. The HK1 use a lot of 32. But you will not produce so many airplanes, so this is normally not so special. Then especially because of the Tojo uses 34. And the Helen uses 34, so normally you need 34, Helen's most. To say, because then the Frank, they all based on the already the new editions and high-end engines, 45s. The Frank, and I think also the George, yeah, they all use the 45. The Francis also use it. These are all high-end stuff. You need all the high-end engine. From the standard engine, yeah, I will think about this. Let me know what you think is the best. I know this was now more or less more technology question stuff, but it's also maybe interesting that you know what is the situation, what is my point of view, how I will change it now, or what I was thinking. But you can also tell me what you are thinking and what you would do different and why you will do it different. And if you have other experience with the game, also be free to call me out. Because I never go over, I think, August 42. I was against the PC AI at hard or very hard, I won already. And Dojo is the first game in play by email. So, I say first, I saved this because I think so far I did nothing, but I can always save it better on on a backup file, like here. Backup first. Not that I did, because the A&D stuff always is very critical. There's no, if you make something wrong with A&D, it's always terrible. So you must, before you touch any industry and A&D stuff, always first save, change it, check again, and if you are sure it is okay, then go step again. But don't mess up this. Never try industry or A&D if you are tired or if you are not focused or anything else, because that will only mess up the whole game. And there's no way to fix this normally easily more. Good, save. So I say now bye bye, see you again, and next time I really start completely, then I can explain how then I really move some units, check the armies, and then I try to do this a little quickly, how I organize this. And but I must normally have two things. I have the army and I have the navy, and I still have to do normally the air force. So 3 big parts, and number 4 is normally logistic. Many bases are low on supplies and some bases are simply overfull with supplies. And yeah, many things to do. Take care, bye bye, see you again.